Hello one and all, and welcome to Behind the Glass, your weekly automotive podcast hosted by two rather uninformed enthusiasts.
No.
I'm Sam from the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass.
I'm Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales.
And you can watch us each week. We hope you enjoy the episode. Hello, mate.
Hello.
How are you?
All right.
Now, I'm very jealous because yesterday you had a fantastic day.
I did.
Thrashing around Brands Hatch in your working GT3.
Completely working. Yeah, I've done the GP circuit. I did actually do it a few weeks ago as well, but a few of my mates were on the day yesterday and they said, "Do you want to come?" And because it was fresh in my mind, I thought I'd pile on. I nearly piled into a wallet.
Was it as epic as I suspect it probably was?
Yeah. You need to come and do a day with me, mate. You're honestly, I know we bang on about how good that car is, but when you've only driven it on the road properly, haven't you, really?
Well, I've also done a lap around the Nürburgring today.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Did you drive it?
Yeah, I drove it.
Oh.
With some guidance.
Oh, yeah.
With a lot of guidance.
Oh, you had Misha sitting next to you,
Yeah, I
right?
had Misha sitting next to me, and I was probably at
2 tenths.
Yeah, I was going to say 4. I was going to become 4 tenths, I was going to say. 2 tenths probably more realistic.
But you can't, like, until you actually push one on the track, that's when you realise how good it is.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's not even really a road car at that point. Like, it's actually like, it actually takes the piss a little bit how good it is.
Oh, well, we've said that many times before. We won't bore our audience by banging about it again.
No, I mean, on track. I mean...
Well,
like,
in general.
Yeah.
I mean, in general.
Yeah.
But the reason I brought it up, I say the jealousy is because, yes, I sort of half teased it last week's episode. We can now talk about it in a bit more detail because the main channel video has gone live. But yeah, my GT3, not in working order, and so therefore not able to be driven around a track at the moment. I don't really want to dwell on it too much.
Oh.
Well, we can. You know what? Ask me some questions because I feel like I've spoken about it a lot. It's caused a bit of a stir in the online Porsche community.
Fuming, some of them.
I hope I haven't upset anyone at Porsche. I think they knew everything that I was planning to do. Like, I did tell them I was putting out content and they knew I was filming and stuff.
Well, it is your car, mate.
And
you
it is. Like, yeah, it's my car. And it's, anyway, long story short. So, yeah, look, you know what happened. A lot of people in the comment section of my video were like, can't wait to hear what Tony says about this. Oh, Tony's going to love this. But actually, you were one of the most supportive and kind people that I messaged during the actual
you messaged me at the side of the road, didn't you, flapping?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. you were one of the first people that I was like,
yeah.
Hey, I've got a problem. But go on. Any questions? What do you want to discuss? What do you want to know?
Well, listen. Cars break, mate. They all break. It doesn't matter what mark you're driving or you've got. They break, and it always goes back to the fact it's why in general, I don't like older cars because they break. And I've had my time with older stuff. It gets on my nerves and it breaks. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that modern cars don't break either. They are machines.
Do break as well.
Sorry, do break. Occasionally, you'll just have a malfunction or something will happen. I've had many GT cars, done many miles in them. They've all been put through their paces and they've all been fine. I've never, ever, ever had any problems with any of them. Same goes for the Ferrari. But I know lots of people, and obviously within my job, that these marques and these cars do have problems because they are machines. But when you take into consideration how many they build worldwide, it's a very, very small percentage.
Yeah, the two things I would say is that fundamentally, whilst a strange issue that shouldn't happen on a new car that much, blah, 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 it's not actually that catastrophic an issue. As in, there's screws that came loose, which
could have been a manufacturing fault. It could have been
anything. So it's not a major fault of a part. It's screws that came loose.
Yeah.
That's what caused the failure. So that's where I'm a bit like, I'm not going to absolutely go in on, people. Okay, so this is my second point. My second point is a lot of people have attacked me or commented on if this was a McLaren.
I knew you was going to say
an
that.
electric car
or
or
an
something.
Aston Martin. Well,
for you, an Aston Martin. Our reaction would be very different and we'd be going, I told you, look, and we'd be absolutely ripping it apart. And I don't disagree with those people. I do think that there are some cars that we claim are famously unreliable and we are almost waiting to have issues. But because this is our beloved Porsche and this is a car that I adore and a car that you also own and love, we're kind of letting it off lightly. But I can't help but feel that way. Like, it's a weird issue that warranty is covering, that the official Porsche Center in Antibes are being great at sorting. Like, there's no necessary headache apart from the fact that I shouldn't have broken down. Do you know what I mean? Like, are we being too lenient just because we love Porsche?
No, because this, from my point of view, it's not true for me, because from what I see from my professional point of view and what I see day to day in my job, it's very common that I hear, and when you consider the amount of cars that these particular manufacturers I'm going to talk about make compared to Porsche, McLaren and Aston Martin and a few others, they break a lot more often and there's less of them. So the reason why I'd bash them is because I hear about it more often and there's a lot less of them cars on the road compared to 911s. But can I sit here and say, oh, they're bulletproof and they never ever go wrong? Of course not. But cars go wrong. But everything goes wrong. BMW M cars go wrong. AMG cars go wrong. I can tell you a million stories from different makes of cars and different models of all the different faults that they've all got, because I see it every single day. Yeah. So it happens, mate. It's just that it's more, it seems to be more often with the smaller brands, and they make less cars.
I guess they make less cars for sure. And once you get a reputation, as you say, it's hard to escape because people are looking for that issue before it even happens, or looking for an excuse to say, oh yeah, shouldn't have done it. Everyone told me they were unreliable and here we are. So I think really it boils down for me, my frustration, which was captured somewhat in the video, was purely a professional frustration. As you say, cars are cars. The amount of miles I do, the amount of cars that I drive, the places that I go, think I was overdue some mechanical issues.
At some point.
I've been unbelievably lucky. You know, I drove around the world in a 911 Carrera T and it never even blinked. So that part of it, I was like, fine, like it'll get fixed. Like,
and I'll tell you another thing as well, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen this before. You've documented it. A lot of people would break down and not even say anything.
Well, I'll be really honest. I did really go back and forth as to whether I would publish anything.
There you go.
And I'll tell you why, purely from a fact that at some point, if I want to sell that car, somebody might not look into what happened, or even look into what happened and think, oh, I don't, that would put me off. That's a fixed car, or something went wrong, or how do they not know that something wasn't damaged? You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing where, because of the internet, will it live on people's minds? I don't have any plans to sell that car anytime soon.
No.
You know, I plan to keep that car for a very long time for now. Let's see what the future holds. But at some point, when I do sell it, could that be viewed negatively? But my end thought was, well, I'd rather address that when I get there. Like, I don't plan on selling it. I plan on keeping it. And also, it's a weird thing that's happened. And professionally, it's changed my plans so much that if I don't explain what's happened, it's going to be really hard to explain what's happened. Do you know what I mean? Like I had to say something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
Because
you had plans, you were doing something.
Yeah. The way that the content's going to unfold, the fact that my next video is the Aston Martin video that was filmed in Monaco before the GT3 breakdown, where in the intro I say, oh, you would have just seen me pick up the GT3 and drive off into Europe. And I've stopped that, so I had to explain what was going on.
Yeah.
And I still feel like it was the right choice to do.
It was, yeah. I don't think it's derogatory at all, mate. I mean, cars break. Well, it is as simple as that.
And as I say, my relief, even though my not frustration, but my sort of my sadness, or the fact that it's a new car that's broken, but my relief was, well, it's under warranty. It's like everything's under warranty. Like, what's going to go on? There was nothing which I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. I just broke it. Like, it was all under warranty, and I was like, fine, no big stress. It was purely the frustration of like the stuff that I had lined up. Like, this was going to sort me. Like, everyone's heard about it on this podcast. I've been speaking a lot that this year I've really struggled with the balance of new dad and my job, which involves a lot of travel and finding that sort of flow of what's right, where I
balance.
feel the balance. I feel guilt for leaving my wife and my baby, but also I need to work hard. And anyway, long story short, this was the perfect 2 weeks I was going to nail. And then I was like, it's all gone. It's just gone. Like, it's finished. Anyway, so that's where the frustration came from. I think the car, I say Porsche have been great. Some people have said, that's because I'm seen through glass and I've got a social media presence. But there's two different situations. There's Porsche retail and Porsche assistants who don't seem to really care or know who I am and are just doing what they would do in most situations, which is get the car in, diagnose the issue and sort it. And then there's the Porsche press team who are trying to help me out aside from that by lending me the blue GB
that's
car.
Part of your job.
It's the relationship I built over the last 5 years so that I can call on favours and say, look, I'm back in the UK. My car's not here. Is there anything you can do? And they're going, well, why don't we lend your car for the weekend so you can finish making the video?
Well, that's the perks of your job. I mean, That's
it's not even perks, but that's the benefit of working hard.
Yeah, it's the benefit. It's
the relationships that I've cultivated. Anyway, so it is what it is. No update as of yet. The parts have not arrived in France at time of recording. They should be here this week. Then I guess it will take another week to get fitted and tested. And then at some point, I've got to figure out how to bring the car back. Thank you so much to all of you who have offered to drive my GT3 back from the south of France.
Have you? Is that what's happened?
Oh my God.
Really?
I have had, well over 100 offers to drive my car back. It's very kind of you. I'm okay for now. I'll probably just fly down and drive it back or arrange a transporter. But I really appreciate the very generous offers to go and pick up my GT3 and drive it 1,000 miles back to the UK. I think what a lovely...
I couldn't think of anything worse.
That's a horrible thing to say. You love a GT3.
I do, but I wouldn't want to drive it 1,000 miles back on a motorway. I couldn't think of anything worse.
Oh, that's a pretty cool experience if you ask me. Anyway, let's move on. I will keep you updated. Make sure you're subscribed here to the podcast channel if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Stay tuned. I will keep you updated of the progress and of the situation with my GT3. And actually, it's worth shouting out our listeners or our live viewers over on Recast. We're recording this earlier in the week. And when we do these recording sessions, we try as much as we can to go live on Recast when we do so. So Adam Dunlop's has put hello boys into the live chat. Bruce has been making some comments. Also, Tom Jackson says it's great that we explain what happened with the GT3, etc. So yeah, nice to have some live viewers with us. If you want to join us for a live stream, head over to the Recast page, recast.tv/behind the glass. Anyway, bits to chat about. Firstly, the fact that you picked up an M3 Touring at the weekend.
Oh yeah. So it's my new favourite car.
No way.
Mate, I've only done 150 miles in it. You know when you get in a car sometimes and you know in
20 metres.
200 yards that this BMW, thank you very much by the way, BMW, have made a car for me.
Okay, so hold on a sec. I got to go in here. So, firstly, when that car launched, you were very nonplussed about it. I was the one with the hype machine. I was going, and you were just like, it's just an M3 with a boot. Like, who cares? You were very sort of just downplaying it. Said it was overpriced, like overhyped. Blah 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 blah.
It is overhyped.
Fair. You picked it up. What? Try and evolve on that. Evolve, yeah. What is that feeling? Because I have the exact same thing. It's how I rank cars or rate cars. In that 200 yards, what is the sensation? Why do you go, oh, I know I like this?
Well, I had a little bit of a head start because I've had all of the new cars now. I've had the convertible, I've had the saloon.
Oh, sorry, M4, convertible M4.
Yeah.
Saloon M3.
And an M4.
And an M4
So I've had all the variants. And they're all very, very similar. Apart from this new car's got that new big screen, which all the the brand new tech, which again when you get in it just makes it feel like a more posh place to sit. But everything else is all like what was in the previous cars that we'd had in stock, basically. When it's really, really hard to explain, but when I got in it, I just thought to myself before I even turned it on, oh, this is a proper car, this car. So then I drive it away, and instantly it's like, oh, this is perfect. I've got, like when you look in the back, there's a big boot. I've got kids. I've got a dog. It's comfortable. It's fast. It's got amazing tech in it. It literally ticks every box, a bit like the M5 thing that we always say. It's that, but more compact. And it wasn't that I was going in on it before. It was the overhype bit, because everyone was jumping up and down about it being the big overs as it is. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this car that I've got, I'm a dealer. I guarantee you I'm going to lose money on it because they're already at list.
Oh, they're discounting them, I think. I think you can order one now at discount.
Correct. Yeah. So from that respect, BMW M cars always historically lose money. They just do. But I bought this car because I want to use it. I always like to have the modern version of the current car because I like to have a feel round, and we used, as I've said to you before, we use them as a bit like demonstrator cars, you know, and then they will go on the market and I'll use it until it's sold, that sort of thing. But you cannot get away from the fact how good it is as a package. I can't go in on it about that. There's no, and I wasn't saying that before. I was just, you know, everyone was going, "Oh my God, this is the car," and it is the car. But how comes there's 60 odd of them online and they're all under list now? You know, so what was all that about? That was what I was trying to get at before when I was saying about the hype and all the figure. I knew this was going to happen.
Fair. Okay. Well, but let's come back. We're going to bookmark that. But it's that 200-yard test, because actually, a lot of people ask us, you know, being around cars this often, like, does the shine wear off? Do we get bored? Like, do we lose our excitement for getting in cars? And I think we've both admitted that, yes, there are lots of cars that you do lose the awe around, or you're less sort of like, wow. Like,
it's really rare for me.
To get excited by something.
Really rare. Like normally when I get in a Ferrari, I still get that feeling. Mm-hmm. Obviously the GT3 and this new M3. Other than that, I can't really think recently of any car that I've got in and thought, oh my God, this is unbelievable.
But it's that thing where, as I said, like, it's a really, you just know immediately. I had it recently with the CLK DTM down in south of France. I had really very little expectations of it. And I was driving out of a hotel car park, and from the car park to the gates of the hotel, I was like, oh, I'm going to like this.
Yeah.
I'd done nothing. I was at 5 miles an hour on gravel road, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to really like this. And it's something, I don't know what that is. It's maybe the confidence in knowing what you like, or it's just there's something inside of you that just goes, and I guess it happens for all of us. Like, if you're test driving a car, if you're going to go, you just know, right? And they say when you're shopping for a house, they say that when you find the house of your dreams, you walk in and you just know immediately. You know
immediately, yeah.
And it's the same thing with the cars, I think.
Yeah, it is.
But an M340i isn't giving you that feeling.
No. And actually, it was so weird as well, because when I was at Brands Hatch yesterday, there was a touring M40i.
Okay.
M340i sitting there, 22 plate. So, you know, the pre-face, there's a facelift car now with a bigger screen, same as my car. And it's like nearly half the value to the M3. But when you drive, if you drive them both back to back, you really see why. Like, I don't know, mate, whether it's in the chassis of the car, or because obviously an M chassis compared to a normal, like, soft M, if that's what you call them,
baby M,
whatever it is, like the proper M chassis are unbelievable chassis in terms of, and I don't know whether it's that part of it, it's the suspension, the brakes, but for me it's really rare that I get in a car and I think, maybe it's just because I'm that age, I've got kids, I've got a dog, I've got a family, and it's that car is for me.
Yeah.
And same as you, because it's rare that me and you, although we do like similar stuff, normally, if you really like a car, I hate it.
Yeah.
And vice
it's rare
versa.
that we both want the same car.
Correct.
Yeah, but you've got an M3 now, and I really want one. But yeah, there's something about that car.
And we both like GT3s.
Yeah, it's just walking up to it and being in it and being around it. It just, there's a special fizz which it gives you. And I remember when I made the video, I was like, it's the same thing that you were saying. You can go get an M340i, spec to the tits, and it's still 30 grand less, if not more. But it would just never give you that sensation. That M3 Touring somehow ignites a bit of a fire in a petrol head's heart.
Yeah.
It's really hard to quantify. It's really hard to explain.
Yeah, it is.
Why it's so inherently special. or exciting or whatever. But yeah, it's a brilliant car.
It can't be that special because there's millions of them.
Okay, so yeah, let's go back to that. I said let's bookmark it, but surely that is just speculators.
That's
that was
100%,
everyone like me who, when that car launched, said, "This is the car." It's like the GT4 RS. This is the car we've been waiting for BMW to build. Finally, an M3 Touring, and everyone went, "Well, these are going to 12 for like 20, 30 grand over list." Because when that car was unveiled and order books were opened, it was when the market was insane.
Yeah.
It was when everything was selling for hand over fist, 30, 40 grand over list. So people thought, "Oh, great, I'll get one of these and just flip it straight away."
Yeah.
Surely that's the situation.
I guess so. I mean, if you go into a BMW dealer today and order one, you won't get one till next year still. But because there's only a certain amount of allocation, so most of the dealers would have allocated the cars for this year, and the BMW dealers won't know their allocation for next year yet. So they'll take a deposit and they get their allocation like the end of this year for Q1 and Q2. It's normally about 6 months, roughly 6 months in advance. BMW dealers be shouting at me, but it's roughly that. So they won't know the allocation, and BMW might say, all right, next year we've got two BMW Tourings for every dealer. Or they might say we've got 10. So, I mean, if they do that, then there'll be another, I don't know how many BMW dealers in the country. There's 120, 150 or something. So there'll be thousands of them here. But they might say there's only a couple per dealer, and then that'll keep the values.
Okay, so here's my question then. Forget how many are made, forget how many touch down in the UK, blah, 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 blah. Does it feel like $100 grand car to you?
I mean, we need to have a chat about this at some point, but car prices, they're taking the piss.
Well, we've spoken about it a bit. We did that whole episode on new car prices and why are cars getting so expensive. But the point being, if you say that historically M cars depreciate and there's tons of them and they should come down, and if there are 60 on the market and blah, 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 is there something in people who've bought it, not even speculatively, but like semi-speculatively, the car's turned up, they've gone, oh, I'll be all right for a while, I'll keep it for a bit, 100 grand car. And then they've got, hold on a sec, these things are coming down pretty quick now. There's no overs. They're offering discounts. I don't really want to be sitting on a 100 grand car that maybe in 3 years' time is going to be worth 65.
Well, that's not uncommon, by the way. If you buy a 100 grand car in general, not in the last couple of years because what was going on in the world, but if you buy a 100 grand Range Rover, in 3 years it's 60, 65 grand, loses half of its value. So that's not uncommon for do that. But if you look at the saloon M3 and the new coupe M4, for instance, like a 21 plate with 15 odd thousand miles on them, they're still 65, 70 grand. And they weren't 100 grand new. They were about 85-ish, 90. So they've not done too bad. So if you switch that to the M3 Touring, in 2 years' time, an M3 Touring will be 75 grand retail. It's all right.
I'll take one.
Yeah,
I can't because finance-wise, have you ever looked at what the...
Oh, they're expensive. That's the problem. This is the
1,700 quid a month with like what, 5 grand deposit, 10 grand deposit?
Yeah, this is the problem with this big stuff because the interest rates are quite high. This is all going to change again next year, I think, when the interest rates come back down.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, they're going to go up again, by the way, any minute now. But this is what's making new cars expensive at the moment. It's the interest rates,
financing,
because the balloon payments are still fairly strong. That's not changed because that's a percentage of the car that's never changed. But the interest rates are high, so it makes the car expensive.
Your PCP that might have been $999 a month is now 1,500 quid.
Yeah, be 1,400 quid. Yeah.
Karis on the live chat says, what is the spec of your M3 Touring, Tony?
It's an ultimate pack car. So it's
ticks every box.
Black wheels.
Satin black, metallic black?
No, just a normal metallic black. Black wheels. Ultimate packs has got all the carbon exterior and interior. It's got the carbon seats. And it's Silverstone inside, so white inside, white and black inside.
You spoke like that, like a true car salesman then. What's the most important thing about my car? Ultimate pack! I would have said colour first.
Well,
you went straight with the ultimate pack.
Yeah, because
pan roof.
No, there's
reversing camera.
Well, that's the good thing about BMW. The BMW people never really go for pan roofs. On M cars, it's not a thing. You can't spec pan roofs.
Hold on a second.
What?
What did you just say?
BMW people
don't usually go for pan roofs.
Yeah.
The man
on M
who
cars.
for 2 years...
On M cars.
Hey. An X3 M40i is an M car.
That's a soft M. So we just spoke about
the man who literally would not let me sleep because I bought a BMW without a pan roof.
Correct.
Is now saying, well, yeah, but BMW and they don't really like pan roofs.
BMW M. So M for because you can't get it. So it's like acceptable that it hasn't got a pan roof. But I still would say, this is what I see every day, by the way. So I would still say if you're buying an SUV BMW, you would have a pan roof. Because why wouldn't you? For resale value.
Yeah, okay.
But you don't care because you've got too much money. You don't care about resale value.
I don't, but I use my cars too much is the problem. So whether it's got a pan roof or not, it's still going to be the cheapest car on the market because you have 30,000 miles on the clock after 6 months.
But has your current car got a pan roof?
Yes.
Right, so you've listened to me.
Yeah, because you literally gave me such a hard time about the last car.
Because it just makes it easier to sell. And quite often I have to buy it back.
I actually think my current car might be the nicest spec M40D on the market.
We're going to see when you sell it.
We are.
Because if it is the nicest spec, it will sell like that.
Lie.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful spec car. It's lovely. In great condition. Well, look, congrats, M3 Touring. I am very jealous. I would have one in a heartbeat, but what I was going to say is I cannot stomach the 100 grand or the 1,400 quid a month payment for that. It's too much money. At the 75 grand mark, 10 or 12,000 miles on the clock in a few years' time, I'm all over it. I just wish I wish they were cheaper. I would have one in a heartbeat if they were cheaper. They're such cool cars.
Yeah.
But
that's the same with everything now. You know, the people that look at Golf R's and people that look, right across the market, they just go, "Oh, I wish a Mark 8 Golf R was 30 grand."
Yeah,
but it's not 30 grand; it's 40 grand.
Yeah,
that's the way it is.
Insane. Well, and another good example of another BMW like that, they just unveiled the new X1 M35i.
Oh, I'm gonna sell a bucket load of them.
What a beautiful looking car.
I think that will tick a lot of boxes for a lot of families, that car.
It's the new X1 has been a great looking car from day dot.
Yeah.
They did the iX1, which I think is really good looking, but just the X1 in general. And now they've given it the sort of M-Lite treatment. I guess there won't be anything more. They're not going to do a MM. So it will be the 35i. They're not going to do a 40i anymore, are they?
No.
In that little car, because I think the 1 Series tops out at the 35.
It does, yeah.
But yeah, great looking thing, great package, spacious in the back. I saw a lot of reviews talking about it. I think, if I was to change my garage up a bit, that's a perfect car for Vicky, my wife. Like that.
Yeah.
She adores our X3, but I think, but 50 grand.
Yeah, but as well, flip that on but really in real terms, that's good for your circumstances now.
Me?
Yeah, because you got one baby.
Yeah, 100%.
If you had two, that's too small, that car.
Yes, yeah, it's a one. Yeah. It's a one baby car.
It's a husband and wife, one child car.
Yeah, one baby.
Yeah,
not even one child.
Yeah,
one baby.
Yeah.
But very good looking. And a few people mentioning about the M5 Touring in the chat. Yeah, we mentioned that last week. I've heard now somebody said, I think European spec cars 160,000 euros.
Yeah, so it's 145 grand.
Yeah. Which is, so it'll be 130 grand list or 135 grand list, something like that.
Plus options, But they reckon it's going to be protected, that car, a bit as well. Mind you, again, they said that a bit about the M3 Touring.
Yeah, I think it's smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, as it always is with these manufacturers.
This week, quite excitingly, I'm off to Norway to get behind the wheel of the Lotus Eletre.
Is it snowing there?
I don't think it's snowing, but it does look like it's going to rain.
Is it ever sunny there?
It is, yeah. You do get. I think a lot of the media rotations have had great weather. It just seems that
the media
I'm cursed
rotation.
At the moment, so I'm going for a bit of rain. A lot of Northern Europe's got rain at the moment. I flew back from. It's like what a prophetic fallacy is?
No.
When the weather reflects the mood.
Yeah.
It's a writing technique or a cinematic technique.
Right.
So I flew back from Monaco with my car broken down in Antibes, and it was pouring with rain. And I went, oh, what a prophetic fallacy. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I think it's prophetic. Anyway, so yeah, off to Norway to check out the Eletre. I'm actually quite excited. I know a lot of people have been talking really negative about the way that car looks, like a weird Urusy kind of weirdness. But I'm quite intrigued. Some of the stats are insane. The top level one does it's got 900 horsepower, does 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. God knows how much it weighs. It's a massive, great thing. But I'm quite intrigued.
3 ton, 2.5, 3 ton.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I have to say I'm quite looking forward to it. I like that part of the world, even with a bit of rain. And yeah, I'm a Lotus fan. I think it looks all right. I'm intrigued. It's been a while since I've gotten a brand new EV product. This is obviously with the support of Geely and stuff like that, but new era for Lotus, new dawn for Lotus. I'm sort of looking forward to it a bit.
Yeah, well, you can let us know how you get on.
Yeah, I will. I think the embargo's middle of July, so we'll wait and see. Got Goodwood around the corner as well, where we'll see a lot more.
You going?
I'm going on the Thursday and the Friday. This sounds out of touch, but I'm a little bit over Goodwood on the Saturday and the Sunday. So busy now, so busy, that I just feel like you don't really get to see a lot of the action on the Saturday and the Sunday. It's like attending a music festival.
Yeah.
You can hear the cars in the background, but you can't often really see them.
Yeah.
And this year, every single manufacturer is celebrating some kind of anniversary. I mean, it's Goodwood's 75th anniversary. It's McLaren's 60th. It's Porsche's 75th. It's the Tag Heuer's got a celebration. Lamborghini's got their 60th. Everyone seems to be celebrating these anniversaries. So it's just going to be a bit of a cluster of things and activities. And
I'm glad I'm not going then.
You're not going at all?
I'm not going. No, I'm not. Honestly, mate, I'm not interested.
What if we did a behind the glass meetup? Would you come?
Oh yeah, because then we're going to meet some nice people. But
a bit too hectic. Anyway, watch this space. We'll try and do something like that soon. Now, I want to use our lovely friends over at Autocar, who we often utilize and reference for segments on this. Oh, why is my mouse not working? I was sitting here nothing was happening. Utilized for topics and articles.
Oh, I thought we'd have to do it again then.
No.
I was flapping. I thought, oh no, what's happening?
Something went horribly wrong. Noticed the mouse wasn't working. They've done 2 lists that I wanted to review quite quickly, because we've just been talking about how expensive cars are getting.
Yeah.
Their first list was best used fast small cars.
Yeah.
So basically best used hot hatches.
Yeah.
And the other one, which is a bit more tenuous, is top used cars for less than 10 grand.
Right.
So let's do the best used small cars first, because I always love a bit of hot hatch, just to see where they're at. And I think we're going to agree with a lot of this. First up, Abarth 695. Yeah, we all know. What a car. I always had the Piposto Record Edition, which was the yellow car. But the standard grey ones, or satin grey ones, still absolutely mega bits of kit. And until you've driven in a Abarth, don't knock it. I know people love to say, they're university girls' cars. People
no,
say,
they're not.
Or at least the Fiat 500.
We sell quite a lot of Abarths, and have down the years, and they've always been lads that bought them. The only criticism I'd say about an Abarth is sit quite high up.
Sit very high up. The steering wheel is angled like a bus.
A little bit, yeah.
And in the 695 Piposto, it's all of the torque steer.
Yeah.
It's all of the torque steer. But I can't help but adore them. And that's actually another car I'm driving soon, the electric Abarth.
Oh,
I got that test drive lined up soon as well.
I wonder what that's going to be like.
I actually can't wait for that. Everyone went mental about the fake sound, the speaker. I couldn't care less about the speaker. I just want to know what it's like.
I wonder if they still got because the good thing about the Abarth compared to its competitors, got loads of character.
Loads of personality.
And I wonder if, because obviously, as we know, electric cars in general haven't got that. And I wonder if they've managed to keep that in that car.
Yeah. Interesting, right? Alfa Romeo Giulietta Cloverleaf.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like the Giulietta gets overlooked a bit, these days.
So it should.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Oh, no, but I still think it's a very pretty car.
It's a beautiful car.
And the Cloverleaf, I guess, they're spicy ones. So they're saying here it's 230 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 6.8 seconds. So it's a Focus it must be a Fiesta ST rival. It's not a Focus rival. Is it a Focus? No, Giulietta's a Fiesta rival, isn't it?
No, it's the Mito that's the Fiesta.
Oh, you're right. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a Focus rival.
That's the little one. Just make sure if you get one of them, get one with rear heated screens. You keep your hands warm when it's cold, when you're pushing it. Because you're going to have to push it. Oh, that's a good car.
Audi S1.
That is a good car.
You're a fan of an Audi S1, are you?
Yeah, they don't make them anymore.
No, and they were... I remember I drove JWW's yellow one in a comparison with it when I had my Piposto. And it was impressively better in almost every way.
Of course, yeah.
Is that the Golf R engine? Or that's the
No, that's it might be a tuned up GTI engine. Is it like 260 odd horsepower?
228 horsepower.
Okay, so it's a GTI engine. It's a Golf GTI engine.
But they're saying you can get from around 11 grand now. 65.8 seconds. But yeah, they're very, very cool. And it just had like that kind of go-karty style. Obviously, it's a 3-door.
Quattros.
Yeah, just a really cool little package. And you could tune them pretty well, I think.
Yep.
BMW 1M. This is obviously a bit of a cult classic.
I have one of them.
Mate, value-wise, they're still insane. I
know, yeah.
They're just not really budging. And I think they're going to start to creep up. I think people are going to go more and more. Like, that was a great, great driver's car. M140i, the rear-wheel drive variant, so the last version of that.
Yeah, that's been a good car down the years. Start to see some problems.
17 grand. Starting to see some problems. What problems do you see?
Problems with them cars now. Like few engine problems and stuff. They're just starting to come, because some of them had hard lives as well, so they're just starting to become a little bit problematic.
In London, they're often drug dealer cars.
Little bit stereotype.
Whenever I'm just telling you, often when I see them, they are black with the blackest of blackout windows, hanging out on street corners with unmarked police cars 4 cars back, looking at what they're doing.
Yeah, fair.
So
you can say that about S3s and Golf R's as well.
Oh, really? They're popular amongst the drug community.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not a drug dealer, it's a great driver's car. Caterham 620. Now, I drove the 720.
That the fast one?
Oh, my God. That's not the fast one. That's the missile wanting to kill you fast one. Like, equivalent of 720 horsepower in something that weighs the same amount of paper.
Yeah.
I really like a Caterham for just being silly. Like, I drive it. You see people driving them, like, on the motorway or, like, up to Scotland. Like, you are committed.
Tracks.
Oh, no, tracks I get. Like, that. If there's any place to drive a Caterham, track, surely.
Oh, you will.
What are you on about? That's what it's for.
I wouldn't drive one on the track.
Why not? It's like perfect.
Because that's all I ever see that go off on track.
Yeah, because they're just liabilities.
They're complete liabilities.
People just driving 2000s. But mate, they're wicked cars. But you are like a driver. If you're on the road doing a big trip in a Caterham.
Well, you're a proper driver if you've got a Caterham. Driver. Like a Lotus, same thing.
Made for the drivers.
Yeah. You're not a proper driver until you've owned a Caterham or a Lotus, right?
I think so.
Or an Alpha.
Done a road trip in it. I think that Alpha statement's long gone now. I know Jeremy Clarkson made that statement of you're not a real petrol until you own an Alpha. And I think that was probably true in the 70s and 80s. I don't think it exists anymore. I think that's long gone. I don't know what that car or experience is today, but I don't think Alfa Romeo represents petrol head. I actually think an M car might be. No, that's a lie.
No, that's not. I don't think that's a lie. It's all you see, M cars now.
So what marks, because the point was there is so much pain with the pleasure, and you are a petrol head because you're putting yourself through that pain for the very limited amount of pleasure. So what is that equivalent now? Because I don't think there's that much pain with Alfa Romeos anymore.
360 Ferrari.
992 GT3s. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
But it just all depends on how old they get. And the older the car gets, the more problems it's in general going to have. You might have a bit of luck.
But what's the reward? I would say, you know what?
Washing it.
Maybe it's Aston Martin. Maybe it's Aston Martin of an era. If you bought a 35 grand Vantage right now, that is a lot of pain, but the reward is massive.
But can I tell you something? You'd be in more pain if you bought a 35 grand Bentley than the Aston.
But I don't think the reward is as much. Because that's the premise is lots of pain for a little amazing reward. Alfa Romeo, that was his point. You're putting yourself through hell, but when you have those good moments, they're the best moments. And so you're a true petrolhead because you're willing to put up with the pain of rust and bills and the indignity of motorway breakdowns, because on the day it's working, is that Alfa Romeo and it will reward you and it's glorious and the sound and the emotion. So what gives you that today? And I think I might say I think I might say Aston. There are some brilliant Astons that will never go wrong, that will work perfectly, but there are quite a few that will cost you quite a lot. I think Alex Goy, famous journalist, brilliant journalist, his engine just went pop in his Vantage, I think.
Did it?
Just literally pop, like gone.
Yeah, I've not really the old Astons in general, apart from the clutches and the touchtronic thing. The semi-auto box was basically a manual bolted to an auto. They were a fortune, but I've never really heard of any real engine problems with them. It's everything else that around the car that goes wrong, but they are quite a simple car. There's not really a lot of electronics on them. It's not like the Bentley where
suspension failure,
everything, mate. I mean, the rear brake light is like $1,000 or something that goes across the back street. With the there's nothing like that on the Aston. It's not that. It's all. I mean, the chassis is like from 1930s or something. I mean, it's terrible.
Okay, so maybe it doesn't exist anymore. Maybe there's not a mark that has filled the Alfa Romeo void of you're not a true petrolhead until you've.
But I think we're in a different era as well, by the way. As in, when he said that was probably nearly 20 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. So it was relevant.
Yeah, is it actually relevant with any car now? Because cars are better than they were. Like, in general, when you drive down the motorway, when you probably went with your mum and dad to the south of France, to your chateau or wherever you went.
I don't remember ever doing that. I did go with my school, though.
There you go.
To Miss Robinson's chateau. She was real cute, by the way, Miss Robinson.
Was she?
Oh, I had a big crush on her.
Right.
Wow. I went to that French trip every year. Her and Miss Burbeck.
Don't change the subject. Anyway, so when you went on holiday, you drive down the motorway and every 50 yards there'd be a car on the side of the road, broken down, waiting for the AA. It does happen now, but you can normally get right round the motorway and not see one broken down now.
Yeah, so
it's loads rarer.
A different experience for sure, but I still like the thought of there being. I think I'm gonna say Aston Martin or pre-2010 Ferrari. Sub 100k Ferrari. Would you say Porsche? Would you say like a 996 Porsche? I'm determined to find it.
Yes.
996 Porsche.
Yeah, it's a
so you're not
car.
a true petrolhead until you've owned a 996 Porsche.
Because, no, it's that era as well. Like your 360 era. I'm not saying your car, but that era of car.
Okay, let's just say modern classic.
Yeah, it was just crap.
You're not a true petrolhead until you've owned a noughties modern classic.
Yeah.
Out you go, lads and ladies.
A V10 M5.
Oh, yeah, that's a real petrolhead's car right there. That is, literally, that is it.
That is it.
That is actually it. Okay, just let's rattle through, see what else auto including this. DS3 Performance.
No idea.
That was when DS sort of stepped away from Citroën. And you see them, they used to have like garish, alternatively coloured roofs.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Fiesta. I mean, we have to talk about the Fiesta. That is nearly dead, that car.
Dead. 47 years and gone.
Bloody hell. And the ST200, that chalk-coloured one, was one of the ones to have, right?
Yeah.
They did a few special editions towards over the last 5 or 6 years, but I remember that sort of chalky ST200 everyone went mad about.
That is still up there, that car. In general, the Fiesta ST is one of the best hot hatches, full stop.
Yeah, I think almost anyone, any generation, anyone. Like,
it's a great car.
Yeah. I saw one of these in Bulgaria during a recent visit.
Right.
Hyundai. Are they saying Hyundai or Hyundai now again?
Hyundai.
Kona N.
Right.
Now.
Larry one.
Yeah, that's the Larry one. I think the Kona is a pretty good looking little, whatever you'd call that, crossover.
Never had one. I had a lot of the i30s.
Yes, which I love as well. And the i20, I think, is
great car.
vibe.
Yeah. Not had an i20 yet, but they're a good car, yeah.
Big fan of the i20N. But this is their sort of crossover vibe.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. It looked kind of wild. I saw one in the sort of traditional blue end colour.
Fast old thing. 5.5 seconds to 60.
Proper fast little thing.
Yeah.
276 horsepower. Getting pricey on this list. Nearly 30 grand.
Everything's pricey though, mate.
Yeah, I'm all over the Hyundai N cars. I think they're mega, and this is great. So I'm a big fan of the Kona N. Kia Proceed GT. Autocar may have slightly dropped their standards on that one.
Next.
$7,000. What are they saying here? Direct comparisons with the Golf GTI and the Focus ST, 201 horsepower.
Right.
The Kia Proceed
Never
GT.
had one.
Never even seen one.
Oh, I've seen one, but I never had one.
All right.
Not.
Mazda MX-5, the BBR tuned edition, or the BBR upgrade. I mean, we say it every single week. What an absolute win.
Proper car.
Still, that's a trip that we need to do.
Couple of MX-5s.
Abarth 124 Spiders.
Yeah.
What else would you put in there?
Do you know,
What's
I would happily, even now, even the cars that I'm exposed to, if someone said to me now, you've got 10 grand to buy a car, I'd just go buy one of them.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't be able to get that one, but
No.
but I still, the one that I really want, I think, is at the Hairpin collection at the moment. It's the Le Mans edition one, the MX-5, the iconic. Anyway, I'm going to make a fool of myself. So, long story short, I'd have that one's a lot. They put it up for all the money,
right?
Because it's like a limited run. But I would have an MX-5 in a second.
Yeah.
I say I really want to do that road trip. Maybe we should just buy them. Because we were trying to organise loaners. Maybe we should just go and buy an MX-5, an Abarth 124. And what's the third car that we were going to take? There was another car.
Well, weren't Paul going to come?
Yeah, but what was the third car? There's another car that we're forgetting.
Boxster, no?
No.
I don't think we settled on cars, on actual cars to take.
I thought we did. But I reckon you could go, I think you could buy an MX-5 at 10 or 15 grand, put 2,000 miles on it and come back and not have lost a lot of money.
Yeah, I'd say that as well. Or if there's anyone at Mazda that want to lend us a car.
Well, that was the slightly more straightforward route.
Yeah.
Mini John Cooper Works.
Yeah.
A big fan of those as always.
Yeah.
It's good, this list. Mercedes A45,
That's
the
a terrible
previous
car.
generation.
That's a terrible car.
Really?
That
The previous one, the bubbly one.
Yeah, it's a
Why
terrible
is that terrible?
car.
Didn't Archie Hamilton have like 6 of them?
Well, probably, I don't know. Well,
Why is that so terrible? They're saying you can get them for 16 grand now.
I mean, I'm sure you can, but it's just not a very good car, mate. Not very good to drive.
So quick, though, no?
Well, gearbox is very hesitant. Yeah, it's not the other. I would have most of them other hot hatches over that car. In fact, all of them.
Because this was one of the first super hatches. This was RS3 and A45. It was like...
I would have had the RS3 all day long over that car. Not even... I mean, now it's flip of a coin because they're both very good now, the new A45 and the new RS3. Back then, the RS3 was miles better than that car.
The problem is as well, the Merc technology for some reason dates so much worse or quicker than the Audi technology.
Because they update it quicker.
Yeah, but... yeah, maybe they updated it, but just somehow that functionality, it's like they overcomplicate it in period, which means that when it goes out, it just looks awful and fussy and strange, where the Audi stuff actually I feel like dates well because it's so simple.
Yeah.
So it might look old, but it's simple and it's functional and effective.
Yeah. BMW are the ones at the minute, mate. That it's their time at the minute. That's the German manufacturer that's on a run at the moment. They've got some lovely cars coming out, BMW.
Doing good bits, even though everyone was so anti them for a while, saying they're not real BMWs anymore and they're awful huge grills and everything's heavy, but now suddenly everyone wants M5 touring, M3 touring.
Everyone wants BMW. Yeah. But like I said, all these manufacturers there, Mercedes have had their run, Audi had their run. It's just BMW's turn, you know.
Feels to me like BMW been on turn for quite a while.
Yeah, but they've always been to drive BMW out of them 3 big German manufacturers. They've always been the one that I'd go to.
But I would say that they've been smashing it since 2002
for
design, interiors and driving.
Not interiors, mate. Are you joking?
Yeah, actually no,
you are joking.
I am joking.
Yeah.
I did spend about 5 years on this channel saying that M4 interiors were the same as my 2006 330i saloon.
Yeah, because when you compared at the time, like the Audi interiors, they were next level. But to drive,
I drank the Kool-Aid there for a second.
Yeah, to actually drive, BMWs have always been. I mean, the E46 M3, the E90 M3, all those bits. Yeah, lovely cars. I
will toot the trumpet for a long time to come for any Renault RS model. They put the Clear RS here. Megane RS, I think, you've got to go and drive a Megane RS at some point in your life. They are wicked cars. But obviously we now know RS department is essentially dead. We've got Alpine instead.
Yeah.
So I think Clio and Megane RSs, just wicked cars. They
Yeah,
often
they are,
look
yeah.
awesome. They come in great specs. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to have a ton of fun. How much are those Clio RS? Is that, what shape is that? That's the 197,
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Clio 197.
Which one did we sell?
Oh, no, that was
The
172.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the 172, no? It was the one before.
It's the 192.
Was it?
I don't know, mate.
Ours was the bubble shaped one, no? It was the older one.
So lost.
It's red. It was a long time ago, mate.
Well,
You ain't got any pictures of it on your phone there right now. You can. I mean, we will be asleep by the time you find them. It was like years ago.
hold on.
I think it's a one. I was a 182.
182.
It was a 182.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the 192. So it's the shape below this. This is the newer shape, basically.
Thank you. We got there eventually. God, we're such good petrol heads, aren't we? Definitely know what we're talking about. Getting towards the end now. Seat Ibiza Cupra, $3,500 before Cupra became its own thing.
Yeah, that's good value, Carl. It's a Polo.
It's basically a Polo.
Yeah, the Ibiza's a Polo, isn't it?
178 horsepower.
Yeah, Polo GTI.
6-speed dual clutch gearbox.
Yeah, DSG.
Wow, that's all right, isn't it?
Yeah. That's actually a good car, that.
Yeah, 3-door.
Yeah.
Looks all right. GI Yaris we can skip past because everyone knows it. What about this little guy? Corsa VXR. You can have a 202 horsepower VXR. Quite old now.
Yeah.
2008 model, $2,500.
Yeah.
But I've always quite liked a VXR.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's all right.
All right, nothing special.
It's all right. Yeah.
Never really competed with the German bits. And
No. It would compete with the French stuff
fine.
and maybe the Fiesta.
I just thought, like, I don't know why. There's just a bit of, I don't know.
It was it was always the one of the cheaper ones. Though,
yeah.
to be fair, the Vauxhall was the bang for buck car.
The bang for buck car. And we'll finish off the list with probably, arguably, one of the greatest, Up GTI. How much are they now?
$15,000 for a good one.
I was saying 11.5 for a tidy example on Autocar.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about a nearly new one.
I would have. This is sinner, but could you get an auto Up GTI?
I'd never seen one.
No, I think they're all manual, right?
Yeah, I've never seen one. Not saying that you can't.
Because I am contemplating a little hatch I think we spoke about this before, to run around London with.
I've got a lovely Golf GTI Club Sport.
I know you do. It's absolutely amazing. They're like 40, but it's all the money, mate.
Well,
not your fault. I'm not saying your fault, but like I'm talking about like
that's actually a rare car, that, by the way.
I'm
Club
sure.
Sport 45.
But there was a collecting cars. Last night there was an auction for a Mark IV R32, and I very nearly bought it.
Did you really?
Yeah, I nearly bid in it at like $13,000. Quite a low mileage car, like 50,000 odd miles. But I'm just looking for. But the problem is, I want Vicky to be able to drive it as well, and she doesn't enjoy driving manual. She can, but she doesn't enjoy it.
Right.
So every time I consider something, I'm like, I probably need it to be auto, which kind of removes the whole hot hatch theory. But
Well, you just got to get a German one.
yeah, that you can put.
It's Saint German.
German, that's a good point. Well, anyway, we didn't quite make it across to the other list, which maybe we'll do another time, which is good cars under $10,000. But it was nice to remind ourselves of some pretty epic small cars that are still knocking around on the used market.
And people say cars are expensive nowadays. Well, we've just given you a load that aren't.
There we go.
Well, unless you've only got £500 to spend on a car, then they're really expensive.
Then you're really screwed, yeah. But we still want to do a road trip. But anyway, that seems a good place to wrap up this week's episode. We'll be back with you for a car park chat episode next week with Paul Wallace.
Oh, no, really?
It's us. We've been a while since we've done one of those. The three of us will be here in the build-up to Goodwood Festival of Speed, talking about everything we may or may not see and anything else that comes across. If you don't know about Car Park Chat, it's basically us three talking absolute gobbledygook for an hour.
So it's like this week,
it's
just
pure
with someone
chaos.
else.
Yeah, literally that. Thank you for all of you that have joined us live on Recast. Stay online. We'll be doing a little bit of a Q&A as soon as we finish this recording. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe now, turn on notifications so you don't miss the future episodes. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., keep following and leave us a review. That would be very, very kind of you to do. If you want to follow Tony, he's at Tony Crawford Car Sales on most social media platforms. I'm at Seeing Through Glass, and we'll see you next week for another episode. Bye-bye.
See ya.